As you well know, I'm very concerned about our drug policy in our country and the way it affects minorities and the way it takes away people's liberties by incarcerating them. I appreciate what you've done, and some of the statements you've made have been most forward move me, and I've appreciated them. But you recently talked about changing marijuana from Schedule 1 and said you'll work with Congress, and Congress should take the lead. Let me suggest to you that it's my understanding under Title 21 that you have the authority to initiate a request to the Secretary of Health and Human Services to do a study to look into marijuana in Schedule 1, and that you could then change it. In my humble opinion, and I think the majority of people in this country, there's no way that marijuana should be Schedule 1 because it's not in the same class as heroin and LSD as it is in the code, which breeds contempt for our laws. And there's certainly medical bases. Dr. Sanjay Gupta has shown this in his broadcasting, but people have voted it in 20 states for multiple sclerosis, for children with epilepsy and seizures, and so it has medical benefit. And to be Schedule 1, it says it has no medical benefit. Well, that's just fallacious. And the fact that this is a high ability or likelihood of abuse, it's nothing like heroin. That's absurd. So I would like to ask you, why will you not act as the President suggested, that where Congress won't, and I predict Congress will not act in this area because Congress is generally like tortoises, and until it's really clear, they're not going to put their head out there. But the administration has acted on immigration, acted in environmental policy, acting in wages and minimum wages, et cetera. Why won't the administration act with the pen and the phone to help people out with taking this out of Schedule 1 so it can be studied, because we're all in favor of research?
Well, I think that we actually have acted in a responsible way in how we've made the determination how we're going to use our limited resources, the policies that I've announced as part of the Smart on Crime initiative, the directions that I've given to people in the field, I think reflect a sensitivity to, again, the resource restraints that we have, the division between federal and local law enforcement responsibilities, and I think that we have acted appropriately.
In those areas you certainly have, but for Schedule 1, all you have to do is to ask the Secretary to make a scientific and medical evaluation, and after that, then you can go further and make a determination on whether it should be Schedule 1. Schedule 1 says you can't do any research on it. Why will you not ask the Secretary under Title 21, Chapter 13, to initiate that program to get marijuana out of Schedule 1? It's obviously not Schedule 1.
Well, what's obvious to one is perhaps not obvious to another. I think, as I said, that given the responsibilities that I have...
Well, let me ask you this. The Secretary would make that study to determine it. Why not initiate the opportunity for the Secretary to make the study and base it on science? And until you do that, it's not going to happen.
Well, as I said, within the world in which I have primary responsibility, I think we have acted in a way that is appropriate.
In those areas you have, the Attorney General shall, before initiating proceedings under subsection A, on control to remove a drug or other substance entirely, shall request from the Secretary a scientific and medical evaluation. That's all you have to do is request it. That doesn't take away from your limited resources.
Well, as I said, I'm satisfied with what we have done.
Commutations. You know I'm interested in those issues as well. Have you looked at having a group of commutations, the people who were convicted under crack, under the old determination of 100-to-1 instead of the 18-to-1 because of the fair and sentencing law, and having all of those people in a group commutation be put forward?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The Attorney General will be permitted to answer the question.
Well, I don't think that we'd be looking for group commutation. We'd be looking for individuals who would be deserving of clemency or commutations, given the nature of their conduct, their lack of ties to violence or to drug dealing gangs or cartels. We've begun an initiative to identify additional clemency recipients. This is something that I know is important to the President, and we're trying to come up with ways in which we can make individualized determinations about who should receive clemency.
Thank you.